We're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We are back, and I'm not alone, everybody.
That's right. Webby, it has been a long time since we've done this. We need to touch the tips. Beep. And let me tell you something. I feel rusty. I feel like it has been forever since we've done a Dinking Around episode. I don't know what to do with myself.
Man, how long has it been since we did one together? Because I've done a few solo, but it's been what? Hasn't it's been like almost a year, hasn't it, since we've been together for an episode?
It feels like it. I think we've done one since then. But anyway, it feels a little nostalgic, but I'm happy to be back. This is awesome. It's Dinking Around, right? It's kind of like our old podcast, but it's a little bit different because it's a little bit raw. It's a little bit uncensored. And tonight's guest, I think, is going to push all of that to the limits.
Speaking of tonight's guest, I feel like maybe we should do like a little bit of a disclaimer before we really get going. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say that the opinions expressed on the podcast tonight are opinions held by only those individuals who have expressed them, not necessarily the opinions of Webby or myself, but their opinions nonetheless, right?
That's right. But we have a very fun guest tonight. I'm looking forward to it. I've been excited to have him on. But before we bring him on, I do need to wet the palate and kind of ease things a bit with a nice adult beverage. I don't know about you, but I'm going to be sipping on a nice beverage from our friends at New Belgium Brewing, and I'll be drinking a nice fat tire. I've already got it poured, so I've got it right here.
Very nice.
What about you?
The new fat tire. I have myself another New Belgium beer. This is the Honey Orange Triple. I think it's been in my fridge for a couple years, aging nicely. You can tell it's very cloudy, and it's probably 10% alcohol. So I'm sure this will be my only one that I have. But thank you, New Belgium, for your continued support of Pickleball. We love you to bits. Kiss you on the lips, right?
That's right. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Glad to have you back.
Good to be back. But I don't think people are tuning in today to hear us talk about how much we miss each other. They're probably here to learn a little bit about our guest this evening.
I think so, too. I think we should not waste any more time and go ahead and bring him on. Today's guest, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with him. If you like trolling, if you like memes, then you absolutely know who our next guest is. And if you are a fan of the social media account Memes of Pickleball, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with, basically, if you ordered Memes of Pickleball on Wish, you would get today's guest, and that is the one and only Maurice the Grease. How's it going, man?
What the hell? Let's go. Let's go. I made it. I finally got on a podcast. You know, the Dink. Y'all was supposed to get me on a podcast. You didn't get me on. See, now I'm here. Let's go. What's up?
We're the first ones that are brave enough to have you on. We're super excited about it. We are very happy to have you.
So wait, going back to the Dink though, so did Thomas and Zane tell you that, because you played with them, you played pickleball with them, right?
Yeah. Actually, like, what is it? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Okay. And then they invited you on the podcast and have ghosted you ever since. Is that what's happening?
Kind of, sort of. So this is a story about it. So a little bit about me. I'm coming from the Army. Before I got here to Texas, to Austin, Texas area, I was stationed out in Alaska. So about 2021, Thomas Shields from the Dink hit me up out of nowhere because he was seeing some of my stuff on Facebook. And then he hit me up saying like, hey, you know, we could do some collaborations, some things, maybe write for you or whatever, maybe get you on a podcast. That was like 2 years ago. So then fast forward, I'm now in Texas. They find out I'm in Texas. You know, they shout me out on the podcast like 2-3 times. Still not on. What's up, Thomas? Get me on. Just risk it, man. You might get canceled anyway. Whatever.
I'm not gonna lie. I tune into the Dink. I think they have a great podcast, the Pickle Pod, and I remember hearing them mention you. And they basically teased the fact that they might have you on the pod. I've been waiting. Haven't seen you on. I don't know what's going on with that.
Right here, baby. We're here.
You picked the right one to break into the podcast pickleball scene on. So we appreciate
Oh
it.
yeah. Let's wait till the end of this though. Let's see if y'all get canceled as well.
Right. Right. Yeah. Hopefully we don't get canceled because of this episode, but we're putting our faith in Maurice here that won't happen.
Hey.
When you think of the difference between an online meme presence or provocateur, if that's even the right word, versus a troll, right? Where's that line at from your perspective?
To me, I mean, they're one and the same. You know, like when it comes to the traditions of like the online trolls are usually people, like online trolls are people that go on there and they're trying to get a rise out of you. Like, regardless of whether they believe in what they're saying or not, they're trying to get you to just, grit your teeth and want to punch the keyboard.
Is that what you want most of the time?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time, yeah. Yeah.
So is it safe to say, like, would you officially consider yourself a troll?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the unfortunate thing is that most trolls are like, they probably wouldn't do this stuff in real life. The unfortunate thing is I'm kind of the same person I am in real life as I am online. I say the same stuff.
I like it.
And I love the fact that you're not afraid to put your face out there, because a lot of trolls and even the memes of Pickleball account, like, you have no idea who's running those things. It's just, they're just like a faceless, nameless thing. You're putting yourself out there, and I can respect that. I can respect that. Not many people do.
Appreciate you. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, for the longest time, people thought I was memes of Pickleball, and a lesser known troll that came in, like I say about a few months ago. It was called PPA customer service, and yeah, you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I got so many inbox DMs and everything saying, "Hey, is this you?" I'm like, "No." I even had to put out a disclaimer saying like, "Hey, I put out all my own shit. My face and name is attached to everything that I do. Like, it was me."
I like it. And then have you guys noticed there's accounts out there, like on Twitter and Instagram? It'll be, one of them was Tyson McGuffin's mullet. Another one was Ben John's mustache, because there was a brief period of time where Ben John's had a mustache, so his mustache had an account.
Oh man, there's another one on Instagram that says Ben John's burner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love trolling that one.
Nice.
I'm not gonna lie. I know
Good
who it
stuff.
is, but I'm never telling. I'm taking that one to the grave, but I'm still gonna troll it.
So your name is Maurice the Grease. Is it true that your middle name is the and last name is Grease? Is that like on your birth certificate?
It's on my license. You want to see it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead, show it. We can blur it out if we need to.
Oh damn. I didn't think I would get this far.
I'm sure a huge majority of people tuning into this podcast and anybody that knows of Pickleball is familiar with you, but just in case there are some people tuning in that aren't familiar with you, who is Maurice the Grease? What would you want to tell people about you if you were introducing yourself to the world?
Introducing myself to the world, I'm a little bit of a jerk, a little bit of an athlete, a little bit of somebody that just watches TV, goes to movies, and somebody that you probably shouldn't take into public circles unless you care to get embarrassed, because I'm gonna say something. You might get kicked out.
So have you, like, from all of the comments you've ever made in the past, is there anything that you feel like was a little bit too far, pushed the envelope a little bit much, got a bad reaction from, anything like that?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
There's plenty of times where I'll say something and then, like, ultimately my goal is to make people laugh, and I would like to get the most amount of people to laugh if I can. If I could get people to laugh at my expense, then it's okay, because I can control it. If I get people to laugh at a specific person's expense, to me, they have to deserve it, right? Because I don't want to seem like, a bully. I'm a troll. I'm not a bully. So if they deserve it, then I don't care. Just roast them.
Is there anybody specifically in the pickleball world that
Ben Johns.
Without hesitation, you say
Ben Johns.
Why? What
Ben
is it about him?
Johns.
Is it just because he can take it? He's one of those guys where he can take it. He's at the top. Like, what is it about him?
Oh, I don't care if he could take it or not. As a matter of fact, he hasn't blocked me yet, and I'm getting pissed off about it. Like Catherine Perito blocked me, and oh man, that was
really?
that was when I knew. What? Who was that? Oh, y'all got sound effects. That's so awesome. So yeah, Ben Johns. I don't really care if he could take it or not. It's the fact that when I was coming into pickleball and I was starting to pay more attention to the pro scene, everybody and their moms is like, yo, Ben Johns is so good. He's so nice. And I mean, that's cool. Everybody can be nice in the right settings. But at the same time, it's like I started hearing things about him being so good and so at the pinnacle that like other people in high positions in the background are starting to protect him. And I don't like that. Like, if you're a good person, I would rather me see you as an asshole and then find out later that you're a good person than the other way around.
Got it. So it sounds to me like, if I'm interpreting this right, you feel like there's a persona of Ben that's out there right now that might not necessarily be in alignment with who you think he really is.
Oh, hell yeah. Of course.
Speaking of Ben Johns, I love the fact that on the It Feels Right podcast, Adam Stone and Rob Nunnery never refer to Ben by name. It's always Colin's brother. Cracks me up every time.
Yes. Oh, it's so great. I love it. I even put that in some of my memes too.
You mentioned that Catherine Parento has blocked you. Are there any other notable accounts that have blocked you on social media?
If they did, I don't know yet because I haven't got on them. I was about to say something about Catherine last week, and that's when I found out she blocked me. And then I was like, oh my God, she blocked me. I put it on like every one of my social media accounts. I screenshotted and everything. Like, look, everybody, Catherine Parito blocked me. Not anybody else, me. Some random nobody.
When you get blocked, does it make you feel proud? Like, do you feel like job well done? Or do you feel like, oh man, maybe I pushed things a little too far?
Like I said, it depends on who it's toward. If I feel like they deserve it, then I really don't care. And if I feel like I know what I did, right? Because if it's something that I didn't know what I did, and I feel like this is a person that, I probably revered or respected, and then they blocked me, I'm like, why'd they block me? What did I do? Then I'd probably be more hesitant with certain people. But like with Catherine Parito, she's out here dumping partners. Nah, she got to catch the L. I had to get her a few times.
I remember when that whole thing first happened, I loved the fact that I feel like I saw you learn about that on social media, and you were like, oh, wait a second, I got to get some memes ready for this.
I was in the lab.
You prepare us like, okay, the memes are coming.
I was in the lab. Oh man, that was a good time. I had so many memes ready. There was some I haven't even used because then, I look at them again and I'm like,
So when did you start making memes? Like, do you recall the first time you ever did a meme, like something that got to you so much and spoke to you so much, you were like, you know what, I'm going to create a meme about this?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So this is how it started with my meme making, right? So like I said, I was in the Army. I was in the Army for about 10 years. I just got out this past January. Please don't thank me for my service. I've already been paid. Thank you for your support, though. So what we would do is a few of my soldiers and myself, we'll have a group chat, right? Where I'll put out some type of information, they follow it. But, like I said, I'm the same person like almost everywhere. So my soldiers knew that I love jokes, right? So they would not hesitate to put memes into the group chat. It would be about me, about, whatever happened that day at work. We're just sitting there talking a whole bunch of shit, right? And then I started getting into it, right? So I started downloading a whole bunch of apps trying to help me out. Basically just trying to make light of any type of situation, and we just all get a laugh out of it.
Has anybody ever like surprised you with their reaction to any of your memes?
Yes, actually. So around the first times I started, like when I first got onto the Pickleball forum, that's where I remember. The Pickleball forum was the first large forum that I was a part of when I started my pickleball journey, and I was in Alaska and everything. And then I put out a meme, and I can't forget it because I had a really big reaction, right? It was one with a Grim Reaper going toward different doors, and you just see blood coming out of it. And basically what you do is you put like these things that the Grim Reaper is killed, and the door next is like whoever's next. So I put like, I forgot what specifically I put, but the fact is I thought I was going to get a whole bunch of, funny reactions or whatever, but I didn't account for the fact that because I'm, military and I'm a little darker, and this is, more civilian stuff. They're a little bit more PG-13. I got a lot of mixed reviews. I got, and that was eye opening. I was like, okay, well, I got to read the room, probably tone it down a little bit. So
yeah, I mean, I think the Pickleball forum is kind of everybody's typical like jumping point into the social media pickleball world. So I'm sure you're not alone there, and I'm sure that the average demographic of the Pickleball forum is probably grandmas and grandpas. Very different. They they probably call memes memes. They just don't get it.
Yeah,
right?
They really don't. Yeah, they're they're the boomers.
Yeah. Did I hear you say that you started your pickleball journey in Alaska?
No, I misspoke. So that was around the time I was getting my pickleball journey started. I originally started it when I was stationed in Colorado, Fort Carson, Colorado, in Colorado Springs. What happened was I was stuck in the barracks. I was just getting out of a relationship. I was all poopy and depressed and everything. And I spent a whole bunch of time sitting in my room, playing video games, just letting the days go by. And then one day I was like, you know what? This room sucks. And, it sucks being all poopy and everything. So what I did was I got onto with this site called meetup.com. Mm-hmm. It's a great site, by the way, to go join a bunch of different things, different hobbies. Like if you want to play guitar, go to a cooking class, whatever. Right. So funny enough, I joined an adult kickball league. And I'm like, I'm, again, New York City kid, kickball, adult kickball, we don't do that. But then I was like, man, what's the alternative? Sit in the same chair, playing the same video games? No, that sucks. So I joined the league. I'm sitting there nervous, I'm scared, and then we play, and then we go to this bar after, get wings and everything. It was fun. And for the course of the league, it was so much fun. I met so many good people. And this one lady, she was like in her maybe late 50s, early 60s. She asked me, and I'll never forget it. She asked me and a whole bunch of people, July 3rd, 2019. She's like, hey, we don't have a game because the next day is July 4th. The league is not going to have a game. We have a bye because, they figured everybody's going to be going for the holidays. So why don't you learn how to play pickleball? And I'm like, pickleball? The hell is pickleball? I'm thinking it's some kind of shuffleboard or some shit, some type of stereotypical. I was kind of an asshole. But anyway, so she sent me an email and she was like, oh, Maurice, make sure you look at the email and so you know how to play when you get here. And then I was like, okay. I still never looked at that damn email to this day. I don't know what the hell that shit. So I meet up at the time, July 3rd, 2019, meet up at Monument Valley Park, right? MVP, the people out there in Colorado. And I go there and I'm like, why are these tennis courts so damn small? So then I meet up with her, and she gives me this old big ass paddle because I played a little bit of ping pong. So I'm like, what is this big ass paddle? Like, the hell is this? And she grabs this wiffle ball and shit, and we just start hitting over this net and everything. And I'm like, it's kind of fun. Yeah, so I'm just hitting this thing, and she's like, "Oh," she's so supportive and everything, and I'm like, "Oh my god," because people, like older people, especially grandmas, they just fill you with so much confidence. Like if you can pop open a jar of pickles, they're like, "Oh my god, you're a superhero!" Yeah, so it's great. She's like, "Oh my god, you're so good." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I can take this pro." Yeah, hell no. But yeah, so the days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into a few months, and then sooner or later, I started in July. That November, I joined my first tournament. I get orders to Alaska. I'm pissed because I look up all the pickleball like over there. I see that it's super small, almost minuscule, and then I'm like, all right, I got to get as good as I can in like 2 months. So, because I'm going. And then I get there and COVID hits. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So that's my kind of pickleball start.
So you're in Alaska, COVID hits, no pickleball.
Oh, yeah.
You just, because we all remember where we were at like 3 to 4 months into like once that obsession hits. Like that's like peak obsession. You're researching paddles. You're finding every podcast available. You're going through all this, and now you're in Alaska. And
yeah, I'm sitting there consuming every YouTube video that has ever been put out, like on the web, anything about pickleball. I'm looking at Jordan Briones and Primetime Pickleball. I'm looking at Into Pickle, the kitchen with
Barrett?
that one guy. Barrett.
Kinslow.
Barrett Kinslow. That guy. Oh my God. He taught me this this dink roll, and I thought it was so cool. So I started using it, and after I started using it, everybody and their mom started getting ATPs off me. Mm-hmm. So thanks, Barrett. Yep.
Yeah, Barrett's a cool guy. We've had him on the podcast a couple times. He's a good guy. I like his stuff for sure.
Yeah, I don't see him posting any videos as much.
Yeah, he's posted some, but he changed his format a little bit. I kind of like it. It's a little bit more in line with what people are expecting on YouTube more. But yeah, the last few I've really enjoyed. Yeah.
I think he stopped doing his podcast though, because I don't think he's done a new episode of that in a very long time. Mm-hmm. I feel like it was shortly after we were on. I feel like we killed his podcast. He had us on as guests, and then boom, done, canceled.
He was like, "I'm not competing. I'm done.
I'm out."
Yeah. So yeah.
Now, speaking of Barrett, though, we have an outstanding challenge against him. We were supposed to play some pickleball against him, so if we're ever in the same place at the same time. In fact, speaking of challenges, I issued a challenge to Maurice for a future episode of Webby versus everybody. So if we're ever in the same place at the same time, we're going to have a singles battle, see who's better at singles on the court.
Let's go.
We got to get down to Austin, man. There's a huge pickleball scene there. So that's where you're at, right, Maurice?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Will you show us a good time if we come down there?
Absolutely. I got a whole bunch of people. I got a bunch of different groups. I'm getting my name out there. It's interesting when people meet me first, and then they see my presence online, and they're like, "Oh, you're Maurice the Grace?" Oh, and I'm like, "Yes, validation." Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great.
What level are you?
Oh, I'm between solid 4.0 and 4.5. So I want to say, like, on a really good day, that's not 110 degrees like it's out here every day. I'm about a good 4.3, 4.4. Yeah, Pickleball Will was pretty nice calling me a 4.5, and I appreciate it. I had a few tricks for his ass, yeah. But I had to get him. But nah, I'm more like a 4-3, 4-4. Yeah, still a lot of work to go.
I really do feel like I need to buy one of those T-shirts that they sell the 3.5 at best, because I feel like that's where I'm stuck right now. I'm stuck at 3.5. So because of your skill level, when you and I play each other, you are going to likely need to play with this paddle right here, the one from 5 below. That's a nice equalizer.
What the? Hold up! Oh, whoa! That's my doubles rating. Hold on, my singles rating is boo boo. I wouldn't.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, my singles.
So you're telling me there's a chance when we play singles that I don't have to give you the 5 below paddle?
Chance. Man, listen. I was in 2 4-0 tournaments, 2 4-0 bracket tournaments back to back, right? Back to back weeks. Out of those 2, I got 1 win. That's it. I beat 1 person. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'm not 4-0. So in the Pride tournament at ATC, if you ever come out here at Austin's Tennis Center, in June, I was in a 3-5 tournament. I did not even medal.
What?
Look, I'm not a tennis player. Singles is tennis. Come on now.
I feel like maybe I have a chance. Maybe you can play with your normal paddle then when we play against each other.
Playing with that legacy, baby. You already know.
Nice.
Yeah. That's great, man. So how often do you get to play tournaments?
I like to play tournaments. So we'll even go back to Alaska. So when I was in Alaska, I played a tournament maybe twice a year. Right. And then that's when I was like, as soon as I leave here, I'm signing up for at least like 3-4 tournaments a month. So when I got here to Texas in February, that's what I did. I signed up for every single tournament I could. I was just drunk off tournaments. Like, I think I signed up for about 10 or maybe even 12 in like maybe a 4 or 5 month span.
Wow.
And then I was like, okay, I'm good, because they're starting to get pricey. So
oh yeah.
right now I was gonna play the 002 tournament that's coming up in Horseshoe Bay. But I gotta back out of it, because right now I'm doing school and like full time. So I gotta back out of pickleball. And if I can't, my thing is, if I go into a tournament, I go there to win. Like, I go there believing that I'm gonna take a gold. And if I don't have the time to practice and, gel with my teammate, then I'm like, I don't feel like I have the chance to win. I don't go in there with just hopes and dreams. I need to be prepared. So I don't feel like it.
So what does your tournament prep look like? Are you drilling a lot? Are you trying to get a lot of rec games in? Like, what's your whole leading up to the tournament? Talk to us about that whole process for you.
Okay, first thing I do is I'm scouting the bracket, right? Because bracket is going to be static from maybe like months ago. So I'm looking at people I know and people I don't know. So the good thing about people that I know is I know their game. The bad thing is that they know my game.
Right.
And, the inverse is true for, the people that I don't know or I haven't heard about. So like, they could be good. They could be really good. They could be bad. So I start looking at them. I start looking at DUPRs. But the DUPR is it's a little tricky sometimes. So you got to look at, like, if I see somebody who's 4.3, they have a higher DUPR than I do, but I don't really have too much trouble against some 4.3s, right? Mm-hmm. I can still overwhelm them, but like, if they're 4.3 who's only beaten a bunch of 3.6s, I'm probably going to wipe the floor with them. Yeah. So first thing is scouting. The next, I have to find a partner. Like, I have to find a partner that I know I can gel with. It's not just about, having the best player who has the best skills. It's like, if you're a little bit less skilled than I am, how much do we gel, right? If I'm going to be the stronger player, how much are you going to let me take that middle and take those balls and let me do? If you're a better player than I am, me to move out of the way, because I know how to do that. I know how to get the hell out of the way. I'm not taking that unless I absolutely have to. with, I'm getting better at it. But
do you prefer being a left side player or right side player?
Personally, I like that right side.
Yeah.
Yep. I got to do that black Colin Johns. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Call me Colin Jones.
I feel like I'm a better right side player too, because I feel like my backhand sometimes is better than my forehand, and it can deceive people. So, and something you mentioned before, you said you do tournaments to win. I feel like that's the approach that I have not taken this whole time. But starting next year, I am because seriously, the last 2 years, all my tournaments I've done, I've almost had a different partner for every single tournament. Sometimes the tournament is the first time I'm playing with that partner. Or sometimes I was lucky to get 1 or 2 practice sessions with them beforehand. So I made a goal for myself for 2024 and beyond that I'm only going to play with people that I can practice with at least 5 times before the tournament, because I am getting quite sick of just having really bad tournament records, and the fact that I never practice with my partners beforehand. I'm sure that's a huge part of the problem, in addition to me just sucking at pickleball, but that's besides the point.
Doesn't matter how bad you are, there's a bracket for you.
that is very true.
Well, you mentioned before that DUPR is kind of lately.
A little wishy-washy, yeah.
Yeah, a little. I feel like DUPR used to be super accurate, but right now, with the way things are going, they're kind of like in a transition phase, trying to get things worked out. Right now, I had a really bad tournament with my daughter, and now it cares more about wins and losses as opposed to point differential. And right now, my rating is a 3.3 on DUPR in doubles, so that means I could do a 3.0 tournament, and that's no matter what that says, I am not going to do a 3.0 tournament, because that would absolutely be sandbagging. Because sure, I'm maybe like a low 3.5, but I'm not going to do a 3.0 tournament.
I don't recommend it. That's me personally. So my take on that, and I mean, obviously you could do what you want. This is America. Do whatever the hell you want. But I don't recommend it if you're a 3-3. And just for anybody listening, this is my take on it. You can call me a dumbass, send me all the hate mail you want, whatever. But I believe that if you're about 3.25, 3.3, you should probably go to 3.0, because the people that go into 3.0 tournaments, the people that win are going to be a little bit better. Like, they're going to have a little bit of a higher DUPR than the tournament bracket. And that, like, say a 3.3, you can challenge in a 3.5, but you're probably not going to win. Right. And the thing is, some people will say like, oh, you need to go to 3.5, oh, blah, 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 blah. They don't understand that the difference between a 3.0 and a 3.5 is not this much. It's massive, right? It's way massive. And that 3.2, they'll say like, oh, well, you're a 3.5. No, it doesn't work like that, right? If all it takes to pickle someone is 0.5 of a difference. A 3.5 is most likely going to be able to pickle a 3.0. Just because you got beat like 11-7 by somebody you think is sandbagging, they're probably not that. They're probably not a whole 0.5 above you. They're probably in those like little in-betweens.
Yeah, you're right about that gap though. I mean, between 3.0 and 3.5, it's massive. The style of play is so different. You know, there's not a ton of strategy put into it. It's just keeping the ball in play. And then you get to 3.5, and obviously then, you know, there's an attempt at strategy. The execution's a little bit off. And then there's that kind of jump to the 4.0 and everything too. But so going back to that though, I mean, Webby, obviously you are not a 3.0 player by any means. And I think you're kind of bringing to surface a little bit of what is going on with DUPR and kind of the transition they're going to. Maurice, do you have any comments on that? I mean, I don't know if you've trolled DUPR at all, but I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that.
You know what? I haven't been trolling DUPR. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Glad I planted that seed for you. Yeah, here.
Oh yeah, I need to get their ass.
What I love is the fact that 2 episodes ago we had somebody from DUPR, like somebody that works for DUPR on the show, and now we just caused them to get Maurice the grease unleashed on them.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're gonna be mad as shit.
We unleashed the grease.
Our loyalty is to our current guest, and that's it. Nobody else matters.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Oh yeah.
I mean, there's so much stuff going on at pickleball right now, though, that I want to be able to touch with you. the whole MLP, PPA stuff, but also DUPR making some changes. And, personally for me, DUPR is in a lose-lose situation. If they get it right, nobody cares. If they get it a little bit wrong, everybody's pissed. And it's hard. This is complicated stuff that we're dealing with, right? So it's kind of a weird situation, but what's your opinion on DUPR? Do you think it's what we should go with? Do you think UTPR is the better direction? Like, what's your take on all that?
Hell no. UTPR is horrible. And their whole model is flawed, because the only way to actually get your UTPR up is to play in sanctioned tournaments. And if you look around, like the whole tournament scene, like the amateur tournament scene, there's not very many. So if I was like a UTPR hunter, hell no, I'd have to travel so far and wide to do these things. It's inconvenient. So they need to fix whatever the hell they're doing. And not to mention, like, say, big tournaments like nationals, they don't let you play up, despite the fact that you got people who are straight up like, they could be 5-0s. They could have even competed in an open bracket, but they don't care. Your UTPR says 3-5. You're playing at 3-5.
Yep.
Like, come on.
Happened to me at US Open twice. Twice in my bracket, I had people that were playing pro in my 3-5 or 4-0 bracket. Twice at US Open. Yeah,
I think it was probably last year. Remember, Sydney Steinecker got caught with that.
Yep.
Yeah, and everybody and their moms in the pickleball world and pickleball forums and in the kitchen, they dogpiled on her, and I did too. I made like 2 or 3 memes, but whatever. It's all good.
We had her on the podcast right after that happened too, and we talked to her about it. And like I kind of respected, like she purposely did that to show how flawed UTPR is. Like I get why people were pissed at her for doing that. But at the same time, I think it like really brought awareness, like how stupid and flawed UTPR is.
Nah, people dogpiled her. I'll tell you this, right? Most people dogpiled her. Like most pickleball players are around 2.5. Like that's probably around true beginner to maybe the upper levels of the threes. Right? So like 3.7, 3.8. I'd say the majority of pickleball players at that level, you don't understand the game. You have no idea. You don't understand the game. You only see it at face value. You just see like, oh, well, this person is joining the 3.5. So, and they're 4.5, they're a sandbagger. No, it's not. There's a bigger story. And she actually told you, but you didn't listen. Like UTPR is flawed as hell. Mm-hmm. And I seen it myself when I tried to go into nationals, and I was like, like they said, oh, well, you can't. And they put it in bold print, like, go ahead and try, and we'll punch you in the mouth, and you'll still have to pay. Like, we don't care.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. USA Pickleball's handling of all that it seems absolutely ridiculous. The way that they won't let you play up, even though you're like you could have like a 4.7 DUPR and a 3.5 UTPR, and they're gonna be like, nope, you're playing that. It's like, come on, like that. This is ridiculous. And that I think that's also the part that I felt for Sydney on was the way that USA Pickleball handled it after the fact. I don't remember the exact story, Webby, but it had to do with them asking for her medal back, and she's saying, fine, I'll give you my medal back, but my partner was a little bit more in line with the 3.5 bracket or whatever that it was that she was playing in, let her keep it. And of course it was a Karen that asked her for it back and was talking. But anyway,
like literally her name was Karen.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
UTPR is flawed. USA Pickleball's handling of it is just it's bass backwards. I don't know what else to say about it except for the fact that we've discovered that it doesn't work. There's DUPR. DUPR seems to work better. It's not perfect, but it seems to work better. And it's allowing you to be able to use challenging rec games, tournament results, everything, which is going to give you a more holistic view of where you really are in the pickleball world.
A couple episodes ago, I had Scott Mendelson from DUPR on the show. And the main reason I had him on is because I've always been a big DUPR supporter. But like with the most recent updates that have happened, I do not like what DUPR currently looks like. I feel like it's not working properly. Once they updated to really care more about wins and losses as opposed to point differential, I feel like they're really no better than UTPR with the current algorithm. But he kind of shed some light on what's going on, and he made sense of why they did that. And he did say that they're going to be bringing back the point differential algorithm. He mainly said the reason they went to the win-loss focus is because newer players and people that were new to using DUPR, they could never make sense of the fact that you could win a game against a lower level player and still have your level, like your DUPR rating could go down if that lower level person scored a high enough amount of points. And they said just a lot of people just couldn't make sense of that. And I made sense of it. Like, to me, it makes sense. Like, hey, yeah, you're expected to, if you're a 4-0 player, you're expected to destroy a 3-0 player. But if that 3-0 player gets 9 points against you, then maybe you're not a 4-0 player, or maybe that 3-0 player is actually higher than 3-0. Yeah. So that made sense to me, but a lot of people that just couldn't get through to them, and it didn't make sense to them. So they altered it to make it to where wins and losses were what's the main goal right now. And DUPR now like updates your score immediately. So as soon as you input a score, a game in the game results, it'll update your rating. It'll show you like that you went up or down and why and stuff. So it makes more sense to people now. But he even admitted that they were really happy with their algorithm before they made that update, but it was just so many people complained about it and couldn't make sense of it. That's why they changed it. So that makes sense to me. But I am really looking forward to when they bring back more of a focus to point differential in addition to wins and losses.
Yeah. So, I mean, I learned this early in life. You're never going to be able to please everyone.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
So the thing about DUPR, like the old algorithm, is that it favored anyone who was the underdog, because you could still lose and like lose the entire game.
That's why Webby liked it, by the way.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. That is why I liked it. I don't win a lot, but I'm really close in a lot of matches.
Yeah, but if you're able to, but now in this one, if you're able to take someone who claims to be a 5-0 player, has a DUPR 5-0 player, and you're say a 3-5, and you take them to 12-10, are they really a 5-0 player? Are you really a 3-5 player?
Yeah. So I think those scenarios make sense where if it's close and both teams are trying, but to me it's like, all right, think about Ben and Colin in round one of when they're playing men's doubles in pro. They're not trying. They're not playing as hard as they are in the quarter, semis, and finals, right? So they're going to get a couple 4 or 5 guys that are going to be able to get 5-6 points on them, perhaps over the first round, right? If you were to take DUPR's old algorithm, it would be like, well, are you really the number one men's team in the world because a couple of 4 or 5s got a few points on you? When they're like, it's first round of a tournament when I'm going to be busting my ass all day. I'm not going to put forth the effort I need to pickle them. And I think you could apply that in all different types of situations. If it's first round for me in a tournament and I'm up against a team that I have 100% confidence we're going to beat, maybe they have an unorthodox style, so they get 3 or 4 points before I can figure out their style, right? That kind of stuff I don't think makes you a lesser ranked pickleball player. I think it just makes it to where you know that you're going to win and you know what level of effort you have to put in to be able to withstand a longer tournament day, to where it's really about that W that matters way more than whether or not they got the amount of points that a 4-5 should get up against a 6-0.
Yeah. Yeah, that as well. Also, I'd like to add that you could have 2 4-0 players, right? 2 players, same DUPR, absolutely the same, right? They may have different skills.
Mm-hmm.
DUPR doesn't measure that. You can have somebody with a crushing serve, right? But they have horrible returns, and they could win a bunch of matches with their serve alone. And then you can have other people who, they have the craziest returns, and it's really difficult to hit your thirds on it. So, some people just have different skills, and it doesn't necessarily account for that. And I think people make the mistake of thinking that all 3-0s, 3-5s, 4-0s, they're all created equal.
Mm-hmm.
and they're not.
Oh yeah, 100%. You could have a former tennis player walk out on the court, enter a 3-0 tournament, and clean house just because they can rip the ball and the other team can't handle pace, right? Just like, you can have somebody that's incredibly skilled but less mobile who can compete at the 4.045 level because their placement is on, is great. But if you looked at them coming up in their walker, and not able to bend down and get the ball, you might be like, oh, that's not really a 4-5 player. But then they surprise you. So I'm with you. I think it's still all over the place. It's also what's great about this sport is that you don't have to play it one way. You can play it any way that you want. There are ways that make more sense than others, but there's not a right and a wrong way to play pickleball. There's just ways that work well for you based on your skill level and your competition.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you win against with this person and against X people in front of you, right?
Yeah. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Speaking of winning, what's your take on all this stuff with MLP, PPA? What's your prediction? Let's get into it, man, because there's a lot going on right now.
Okay. So I metaphorically wear two different hats, right? So on one side, I wear the amateur player, right? Where I'm basically trying to get as good as I can, increase my skill level, increase the quality of the games that I can get into, rub shoulders with people, introduce myself to different groups, things like that, right? Doing all of that. On the other side, I kind of sort of follow the pro scene. People think I follow it like a hawk. I actually don't.
Oh, really? I am surprised by that, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. See, people think I follow it like a hawk. So I know some things that are not as widely known, right? And then I'll get information, little quips here and there. I'll get different people's takes on real hot button topics like, the MLP, PPA thing. And I'll get insider knowledge here and there. But like sitting at home on a Saturday and Sunday watching 8 hours of pickleball, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Nah. I mean, every once in a while, sure, but no. So my take on the PPA and MLP merger is similar to what a lot of people are talking about. It's gonna hurt the fans mainly because the people that mainly want to watch pro pickleball, they're already hurt by the fact that PPA is going towards, CBS and Amazon and everything because their large their large viewer base is on YouTube. And when you do things like that, you put it on this one and that one. I understand they're trying to grow their brand. I completely understand that. I'm not hating on them for that. But as a viewer, it's like, I got to get CBS or whatever just to watch Championship Sunday. If I want to watch, Championship Court, like you're not having Ben Johns on it every game. Like I can't watch, I can't watch the quarters on YouTube. Come on now. I got to watch Grandstand Court. There's no commentary.
Right.
There's barely a scoreboard. If there's something messed up, nobody finds out about it. Like it's almost like nobody cares about Grandstand Court, and you could have really good names competing, and it could be a really good game, but nobody's commentating on it. Nobody's saying anything. The energy of pro pickleball is just not all the way there. So So as far as the merger, or not, excuse me, not the merger, like the big split. I think that the PPA, whatever they did, I don't know what they did, they kind of shot themselves in the foot because now whatever talent could have beaten Ben Johns is gone for a little bit. They're gone for at least 3 years. Like Riley Newman was, everybody called him, some people called him the Sultan of Silver. Yeah, him and Matt Wright were, your best bet. Your best bet. Like they took him the distance in plenty of tournaments. Then you had JW and Dylan. They were nipping at their heels. They were consistently going up against the Johns every now and then. now they're all MLP. So it's like MLP is exciting. It's going to be exciting regardless. But now PPA, it's like you got Ben Johns with way easier matches.
Well, what's been the biggest complaint for PPA for the longest time is it's been the Ben and Annalise show. And for the longest time, I loved it because I still love watching them play. It's so fascinating. I'm just intrigued by them as individuals and them on the court, right? But what's the biggest killer of sports? It's predictability. And when it's the Ben and Annalise show week in, week out, it gets a little bit just mundane. It's like, should I turn it on? Should I not? I don't know. Maybe I'll go clean the garage, right? Like, honestly, sometimes that happens in my head because I know what's going to happen. So now I think with what's happening right now, if it's going the direction that we all think it is, you're absolutely right. It's just going to be more of that. It's going to be more of what we have proven has become just kind of a diluted product, right? I love watching the PPA events. I absolutely do, but it's the same thing every single time. And it's just, it's saturated with 20 plus events per year. It's going to be crazy. And it's like, what's special? There's nothing special about it. MLP has become special. It's become fun.
Yes.
We have found that pickleball might work better in a team format than a traditional tennis format. In fact, in most areas of pickleball, I think the more that we distance ourselves from tennis, the better the result is for everybody. And so I think if MLP can get to the point to where they have teams that are in a city with home courts or home stadiums that tour around with a pickleball season and with, different teams challenging other teams throughout, let's call it a 13 to 20 week period, with adding on that team aspect with maybe like 4 to 6 major tournaments so these players can still play tournaments with who they want. I think it's going to be by far the best thing that could ever happen to pickleball. So as much as I agree there's going to be a lot of short-term pain with what's happening right now, and it's kind of crappy from a pickleball fan's perspective to not know what's going to happen and what's going to see. I think at the end this is going to land in the right place, and I am happy as hell for a lot of these players who are making some coin right now. Open your wallets.
Oh, yes.
If you're a pro pickleball player, open your wallet and cram as much as you can in there right now, because
get it.
Because if we want the sport to elevate, we need these people to make it a career. And the more that they can focus on growing their brand and their skills, they're going to be superstars. If they don't have to supplement their income by teaching, Marge at the 2-5 courts, 3 hours a week and stuff like that, it's only going to help them get better, which means the sport's going to get better. They're going to have bigger brands. They're going to be considered superstars. Everything is going to be better. So open those wallets, cram as much money as you can in there, double down on this, and let's go. My money's on MLP 100%.
Yeah, I'll even add to that. So remember way back when, it was like, last year, when PPA did the same thing MLP did, when they took up all these players and all of these big names. And for a while, the tougher brackets were always going to be in PPA, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. And then APP, people said that was more like the Challenger League. But see, in my personal opinion, my perspective, APP to me was more exciting because you had people that you never even heard of, and they're coming out of the woodworks. Like, that's where you had Paris Todd. Yep. I think that's what. Yeah, she started coming out of there. Yep. And as soon as she was winning in APP, then she came to PPA, and that's when she upset Anna Lee. And I remember that weekend. It was phenomenal. And that's what you get. You get people in the APP who come out of the woodwork. That's where you get Hayden Patrick, and you get your Wyatt Stones. They were pretty much household names, but you get people that may have been in a high level. Pesa Tioni. There was a bunch of people who didn't know who he was. Yep. And then now he's at the top with Andre Descu. Yep. And they were, about that time, and they're just wrecking house.
Yep. Winning gold in APP. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, because you're starting to see newer, fresher names. And even though some people say like, oh, well, it's just watered down, like, don't disrespect APP. They still had a pretty solid and stable business model. They had their next gen. You know, I think PPA had something like that, and then they scrapped it for some reason. Like, how are you going to get your fresh people in there? How are you going to get your fresh talent, your fresh names, and invite people and see all kinds of different things? Like, you know, CJ Klinger. Like, come on, this dude was a beast.
Oh yeah,
he came, yeah. And you see, what's the name? Jack Monroe just got signed. I seen that on Facebook. Jack Monroe just got signed by MLP. People don't know unless you know about him. People don't know that he's ambidextrous.
really.
And that's that dude is insane. I played against him. I actually drilled with him one time. Yeah, he put me in a coffin. That dude is the truth.
That's nice, man. Webby, what's your take on all this, man? Like, you and I chat, but we haven't really been public about it yet.
Yeah, so honestly, as soon as MLP and Steve Kuhn started doing what they were doing, I'm not going to lie, I got kind of excited because they did exactly to PPA what PPA did to APP, and I love every second of it. And I was excited about it. And another thing I really love is when PPA did what they did to APP last year or 2 years ago, whenever that was, people just thought, oh, well, there's the end of APP, RIP APP. But no, Ken Herman, he just kept doing his thing. They kept grinding. They didn't care. And now we got Steve Kuhn, and there's the pictures of Steve Kuhn and Ken Herman. They're shaking hands. They're coming up with deals. And now
Yes.
PPA is the underdog, and I absolutely love it.
Yep.
What goes around comes around. That's what I always say. What goes around comes around, and I feel like PPA is feeling it. And let's see how they react. Can they pull a Ken Herman? Can they stay alive through all this? I'm not so sure. We'll find out.
Well, and here's the other thing I want to add to, on top of that, Webby. Like, so at the end of the day, you know, you got Connor and Tom Dundon on the PPA side, and then you've got Steve Kuhn and a bunch of other people on the MLP side. And I got to say, when you meet with Steve, the guy's a visionary. He's intriguing. Mm-hmm. You leave a conversation with Steve Kuhn feeling better about yourself as an individual, because he might be a shark, but the guy is very personable, and he's passionate for all of the right reasons. I don't know that I can say the same thing based on my personal experience with the PPA, that they're aligned with that mindset, if that makes sense. I don't know if I want to go into too many specifics, but I would feel much more comfortable dealing with Steve Kuhn than I really would with the PPA.
I totally agree. I've had some text conversations. I've had some phone conversations with Steve Kuhn, and I feel the exact same way. Very personable. Yeah. I don't feel like, oh, this is the super high important billionaire. I gotta, like, I'm nervous. Like, no, I felt like he was just another pickleball lover that I was talking to and stuff like that. So
I guess the next couple months are going to be very telling. I think there's going to be an attempt at another merger. So I don't know. We will see what happens. Probably. But yeah. It could very well happen. I mean, at this point, right, if anybody's keeping score, I think at this point we have to say MLP has won. They've won. It's definitive. Yeah. But PPA, you know, the other night at US Open, the one dude, whatever his name is, was wearing the Vibe Pickleball t-shirt. They could be going after a high tennis player. That could tip the scales a little bit in PPA's favor. I don't know. We're going to see where this all shakes out, but
Or was that just them saying, "Hey, let's pay this guy to wear this T-shirt and make people think that Vibe Pickleball is a real thing"?
Good
or
point.
Is that what's going on?
Could be.
I'm starting conspiracy theories. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, do it. Let's go. Let's hear it.
I've been wanting to do a conspiracy theory.
Let's go. Let's hear it, man.
Yes. I mean, it could be. I mean, they got Jack Sock, and that's that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty substantial. They got this man to quit tennis, and he's only 30.
Yep.
And he said, "I'm doing pickleball full time." But I mean, then again, pickleball right now is not the same pickleball like just 2 years ago. There's so much more money, and you can sustain yourself right now on pickleball. If you're a high level, if you have the endorsements, you know, if you make the right business decisions, you can. Like a little while ago, it was common for high level pickleball players to have to get most of their money from teaching. Mm-hmm. And now that's it. They're going like the highest point of the mountain. They're going away from that. They don't have to.
I will admit, like if PPA keeps getting people like the Jack Sox and people like that, I will definitely keep tuning in because that I loved watching him play last year. I loved because I always love seeing like can the tennis players, like the high level tennis players, can they hang in the pickleball world? Will they dominate like everybody assumes they will? That brings a really interesting dynamic that I do love to watch. So if PPA does keep bringing in these tennis stars, I mean, I do feel like that will keep them in it and get a lot of eyeballs.
Well, it's what I've noticed about the people transitioning from tennis over to pickleball is that the top tennis players are typically very, very tall, incredibly tall. And that's what makes them good at tennis because they're able to use that to their advantage. Where in pickleball, I don't know that that's necessarily an advantage. You're a little bit bigger of a target. It's a little bit harder for you to be able to move quickly at the line, right? In tennis, you don't need as fast of hands as you need in pickleball in those situations, which is why a Jack Sock, who's incredibly athletic, he's tall, but he's not John Isner, right? I don't even think he's as tall as Sam Querrey. So he's a little bit shorter. I think he's got the body style that is better suited for pickleball, and I think that that's going to play a big role. Just like Michael Phelps, I mean, the guy was basically like his body looked like a swimmer, right? I mean, like he looked like it looked like exactly what you would design something to go through the water in. So body styles do count, right? And that's why I like to drink beer and carry around like 30 extra pounds of me because that helps me on the pickleball court to put into my drives and stuff. So, you know, that's why body styles matter.
That's cushion for the body bags.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh man, that was so embarrassing watching Michael Phelps play. It was so bad.
Oh yeah.
So bad. I remember people thinking like, oh, this is like a top of the line athlete. He's going to dominate the pickleball world. And like when he got out there, it seriously looked like that was maybe his first time ever picking up a pickleball paddle.
Yeah, people kill me with that. When they think like all athletes are the same. Like what? You know, there's no courts in a swimming pool.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
You don't even run. You really don't even need footwork. Like to swim? Oh.
Don't need eye-hand coordination.
No.
Nothing.
Yeah. What? You don't need that. Crazy.
Speaking of crazy, I think tonight has been absolutely crazy. Maurice, it's been awesome getting to know you a little bit better here. Anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to plug, man? This is your opportunity. The floor is yours. Whatever you want to say, now is your time.
I've been waiting to talk shit. All right, so my buddy up in Alaska, what was his name? Josh Dalek. You don't even need to know his name. Forget you. Listen, he beat me in one tournament, whatever. But we don't even talk about that. I still beat him out of a whole stand. He didn't even medal in that last tournament we played in. So forget him. My boy Cody Hayer, yo, we're up. Let's go. Daniel Hawk, appreciate the paddle. Hey, we're up there. Got to shout out my, what's the name, CTX Fieldhouse. Got to shout out a bunch of people that I know at SARC. I got to shout out all of my people in San Marcos. That y'all got a few minutes for this? Because I'm going to be going off.
Keep it going, man.
I got to shout out the people at Georgetown all the way up north. A little bit above Austin. I got to shout out Harker Heights Athletic Club, HAC, all the way up north next to Colleen. Oh man, Craig Bobo, I met him. He's cool, he's amazing, but I'm coming for him because he keeps annoying me with that damn Dura. Like, have y'all played with the Dura?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
that thing plays fast.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Like,
it does.
What are you? I went from a solid 4-4 to easy at 3-6 with the Dura. I couldn't hit anything, and then when I did, it was out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it pissed me off. It made me have like a midlife crisis. I was gonna have an aneurysm.
You should play with the Dura in cold weather and altitude, and you're not gonna be able to keep a ball in play, guaranteed.
Oh yeah, that's when I went to what's the name? When I went back to Colorado after spending 3 years away, it seemed like every ball I hit would just float. I felt like I was playing on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was crazy. Oh yeah, I got to shout out a bunch of my peoples out there in Washington that I met. I got to shout out the people at Spring Pickleball in Colorado. Where are y'all based out of?
I live in Naples, Florida.
I'm in Southeast Michigan. I'm like directly in between Detroit and Ann Arbor, and here the ball of choice is definitely the Franklin because we're a colder environment, so the Duros crack like crazy. So the Franklin is definitely the ball of choice here in Michigan.
Yeah, after 3 years in AK, I don't want to see snow ever again. That was another reason why I came here to Texas. Ain't no way. Like, I don't even like looking at my fridge. It gives me, I don't like that. So, yeah, hate that. But yeah, it's what's the name? Got to shout out people in. I know one of my buddies, Caesar, out in New Jersey. Yeah, he can catch the smoke unless he's on my team. But still, yeah. Oh man, I got to shout out Bastrop Pickleball. Yeah, I got it right here. If y'all could see it, Bastrop area pickleball. It's about an hour east of Austin. Yeah, very well done. Very well done courts. About 10 right now. They got 2 championship courts with 10 awesome permanent netted courts. Gorgeous if you can get out there. So if anybody goes out there, 100%, I highly recommend it. Dreamland was a little bit of a disappointment to me. I mean, they have leagues and everything for a little bit of higher level people, but when I first got here, it was a little bit of a disappointment. Their open play needs work. So fix your open play, Dreamland, and I'll come back. I might come back to visit anyway. But yeah, I did see some pros over there, and I met Vivian David's dog.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, shout out to Vivian David's
Nice.
dog. Such a cool dog. Damn, now I'm getting all forgetful. Where else? I think that's about it.
Oh, that was the most amount of shout outs given by anybody in our podcast by far
Right?
after 130 some episodes. So congrats on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I just got one more question for you. When you're in the court, rec, tournament, does the trolling come out to your opponents?
Ooh, this is a good one, right? So there's 2 ways you can get the trolling to come out of me. If my partner is starting to like feel the pressure and they're messing up a little bit, I'll start talking trash to try and get the opponents to stop hitting to them and hit to me. Yeah, and then get the pressure off of them because they're like, all right, they got this kid's number. I gotta do something. So I'll do that, right? Or if I hear them say something under their breath, matter of fact, I'm gonna shout out these 2 pieces of shit that says something to me. Yeah. So anyway, it was like about 2 Sundays ago, and I was supposed to be practicing over there with one of my boys. And we practiced there, and then these 2 dudes were getting impatient and everything. So my buddy was cool. He said, he let them play. And these two, we had 2 good games, and then the third game, me and my buddy were losing because they were targeting my buddy, and I'm like, God damn, man. And so one of these dudes is like, oh, I got his backhand all day. I'm like, bitch, what? You don't have my backhand all day. You got me worried about my damn partner. So he's sitting there talking shit, and it was a little bit. So he went to 5%. So I went that 95% all day. I was talking cash shit. And then his buddy got in, and he started talking cash shit. So then I was talking shit to both of them. I was on overtime. Every time they tried to hit to me, they tried to speed up. Nope, counter, stop doing that. And I made it look easy. So then they eventually won. And, where I come from, I'm coming from, a lifetime of playing football. I played a little bit of basketball in high school. So where I come from, we talk trash and we leave it out on the court. We talk trash, and if you're an outsider, you would think that I'm ready to fight somebody, and I'm not. I'm trying to get under your skin 100%, especially if you started. Oh, I'm going 100. And so I gave him a handshake. I tried to be cool about it, and they were still chirping after the game. So I'm like, bro, if you got a problem, we can handle it. And they was like, oh, we're gonna handle it. And I was like, get the fuck out of here, bitch. So, yeah, not my proudest moment, but hey, let that be a lesson to you.
Leave it on the court.
Don't talk shit. Leave it on the court. I made plenty of friends with people that I talked shit to, and we were going so hard. but then at the end of the game, and now we're tight. Oh, shout out to David Naylor and shout out to Daniel Tumison because of that. Hell yeah.
Webby, anything else we got here tonight?
No, this has been awesome. Thank you very much, Maurice, for joining us. And I absolutely love the fact that the Eddie and Webby podcast was the first one to fully unleash the grease. And I feel like we need a T-shirt that says that. If you don't have that in the works, you need a T-shirt that says "Unleash the Grease."
Hey, it ain't easy being greasy, baby.
Oh man, so many T-shirt ideas. So many T-shirt ideas.
Easy being greasy.
Yeah, I need to make some money somehow off of this. Like, I'm broke as shit.
Living the broke amateur pickleball life. I get that for sure.
Hell yeah. I just got a futon I'm sitting on right now.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah. Life is good, though. No, I'm good. All my bills are paid. I'm great.
Good. Well, can't wait to come out to Austin to see you. If we ever cross paths, man, hopefully we'll get a chance to hang out, play some pickle, have a good time, talk some trash, do our thing, right?
Yep. Keep your paddles up.
I like it. Awesome, man. Well, good talking to you, and we'll be in touch.
All right. Peace.
See ya.
Oh man, that was super fun. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was just as good, if not better, than what I was hoping for. So much fun.
I felt like he was a little bit tamer tonight than I was expecting, but probably for a good thing, because I don't think there's much we have to censor out of tonight's episode. If you're listening now, we've already gone through the process of censoring out some of the stuff. But
yeah, this is the first episode in a very long time that Eddie and I have done together that wasn't live, and I feel like we were fine. Maurice, he behaved himself. We could have gone live, but we didn't want to take a chance, so we pre-recorded this one.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought that was a good idea. And actually, there's a lot less pressure from going live as well. So I don't know if you felt that way, but this has been, the last time we didn't go live was like 4 years ago. Think about that.
Yeah, very long time ago. It felt weird not being live. In fact, at one point I forgot that we weren't live, and I was trying to check to see, has anybody left any comments down below? So that's one thing I do miss about not going live is the live interaction, not having that. But otherwise, it was good.
That's right. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely had fun. Webby, I hope we can do more of these because I forgot how much I love it. It's a good time.
Yeah. It has not been the same without you. I know I've done a lot in the past year without you, and not the same. It's absolutely way better with you. So hopefully we can keep doing these together much more frequently.
Let's do it. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.
Well, we're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh yeah.